Hey, good morning.
Francisco, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Good to talk to you.
Doing good. Likewise,
All right.
likewise.
All right, my man. We're gonna move fast, we're gonna be
Okay.
diligent, and we're gonna get you what you ultimately want. So, first, at the end of today's session, what do you want to make sure we accomplish? Like, what's your big thing you want to do? Like, how are you going to know if we were successful just spending an hour or two with me today? Give me an idea of what that looks like, and then we're going to jump in.
Sweet. Pretty much having like a good plan of execution with next steps based on what we discussed today. I was looking over the spreadsheet you had sent over, so this is definitely very interesting, something I'm excited to add to my arsenal.
Right.
And really the main important thing is just a plan of execution on, what to go out and do next. So that way, after we leave this call, I want to be able to come back to you with something tangible for you to guide me on and execute on.
Right. We'll make it happen. So, um, let's jump in. I got an idea. The prep work is super helpful. That kind of allows me. I was a former athlete, so it's kind of like my scouting report. I know what I'm walking into, and I'm ready to go. You look like an athlete too, right?
Yeah, I played basketball, football, pretty much everything growing up.
Cool.
So definitely
Good, man.
understand the scouting report.
Yeah, we'll work well together. Okay. So right now, what do you want to do? 20 deals at $25,000 profit each. Now,
hmm
are you okay if you do 10 deals at 50,000 or 5 deals at 100,000? I mean, are you okay if we do less deals but more profit?
Yes, 100%. The way I
Okay.
came up with that formula was when I was thinking about my goals for 2025, I was like, 20 deals, 25K profit, 2025. But I am 100% on board for less deals, more money, which is the
That's
ultimate.
that's what is that $500,000 in profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we got to figure out the simplest and easiest way that costs the least amount of time, energy, and money to get you $500,000 in your pocket. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
Good news is I did a deal 60 days ago. I bought it one day, sold it 7 days later, made 290,000.
There you go.
I didn't have to subdivide it. I didn't have to do this. I flipped it to a neighboring property owner.
Wow.
Now, I could have made 290,000 or maybe 350 by subdividing it, but there's simple, easy ways to get where we ultimately get. And we got to figure out the simplest and easiest way that costs you the least amount of time and the least amount of money to get there. Cool?
Absolutely.
All right, so 500K. Next 3 years, bigger deals, great. Less deals with bigger spreads. We're just going to do that right now. We're not going to wait. We're just going to go and do that right now because I believe that is the way to make the money. So we're just going to jump into that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Guidance and mentorship. We're good there. All right. Target market, property selection. So Hernando, because you're in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hernando, Polk, Flagler, and Hillsborough.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding bigger deals there, are there subdivide opportunities there? Meaning, when you look at those markets, are there minor subdivide opportunities where you could find a 10 or a 20 or a 30 or 40 acre piece of property and subdivide it? Are you seeing those markets as subdivide markets or those more small infill lots and I'm just going to find it for 20 and sell it for 50? Do you think there's subdivide opportunity knowing those counties?
Hernando, yes. The other ones I do not know. And the reason being is because my experience mainly comes from the infield space.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, that's to my extent of my knowledge as far as like subdivide opportunities. I
Yep.
think to answer your first question about what would consider this call a win is also being able to at least train my eye to see that type of opportunity that you just
Okay.
described. Because at this present moment, I don't know how to
All right.
distinguish where
So
that
let's start.
opportunity
Let's
lies.
start there, and then I'll probably give you some homework. Okay. So this is what we got to
Okay.
think. So let me pull up Hernando County. So it's really simple. So the way that we want to look at it is a couple things. First is market velocity. So the first
Is
thing
this
that we
call being
ultimately,
recorded? Okay, great,
yeah,
great.
I'm recording this, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm recording. I'll get you a copy of this. The first thing is market velocity. You see my screen here?
Yes.
What we got to do is make sure that we're in a market that is strong demand. So what I do is I'll go into Zillow and I'll search 2 to 5 acre properties, 5 to 10, 10 to 50 that are for sale and sold over the last, call it 90 days and 6 months. Have you done this before?
A variation of this, but yes, I want to see how you do it.
Yeah. So let's just look here and we're going, let's say 5 to 10 acres. Okay. apply, home, lots of land, that's it. And we want to go to sold. So right here, we have in the last, how many day period? 6 months. So let's do 90 days. We've had 6 properties that have sold that have been between 5 to 10 acres. 6. Okay. All right. Now let's go to for sale. We have 12. So 12 have been listed and 6 have sold. So our ratio is 50% turnover, meaning 12 listed, 6 have sold in a 90-day period. Okay. Now let's look at 6 months.
Wait, go back real
Looking at a
quick. So
couple. What's
you did
that?
5 you did 5 to 10 in the last 12 months.
In the last, that was the last 90 days.
Oh, okay. Last 90 days.
Yep.
Okay. Last 90 days.
Now let's do 6 months. 6 months, it's 24 for sale. 12 have sold. So that's not great, because what we're trying to figure out, right, is how quickly can we sell lots if we subdivide? And what this is basically telling us, it might take us a while because double the amount of properties are being listed that are being sold. Now, let me show you Monroe County, Georgia. It's just a county I know, county I'm working in. Let's look at this one. Sold 18.
Let me follow you real quick. You said Monroe County.
Yeah. You're able to see my screen too, right?
Yep. All right. 5 to 10, Monroe County.
Yep. For sale, 6. Sold, 18. That's better because 3 times as many properties are being sold than that were listed for sale. Now, that was over a 6-month period. Now let's do 90 days. Sold 11, for sale 1. So these things are flying off the shelf, right?
So okay, so that was okay. So you're toggling back and forth between for sale, 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For sale, how many were new listings within the last 90 days? This one has 1 new listing, 5.9 acres. See that? $85,000 an acre.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then when I go to sold, 11 have sold. This one was 7.7 acres, 6.7 acres, 5.1 acres. So you can kind of see and verify how many were listed for sale and how many sold. And what you're
Is
trying to,
that
go ahead.
no, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because the way I learn is like kind of I don't know the terminology. I remember learning about it in school, but is that kind of like absorption or sell-through rate? Is what
Sell-through rate. That's all that is.
okay.
That's what that is. How quickly these properties are selling.
Okay.
So we go back to, what was it, Hernando County?
Mm-hmm.
We go back to Hernando. You know, we got 6 sold, for sale 12. So obviously things aren't moving as quickly here. Now, this is for, I believe, the best way to make the most amount of money in the least amount of time, which is finding a 20 acre, 50 acre property and cutting it up 3, 4, 5 ways. But what you got to figure out, if sold over the last 6 months, only 12 properties in the whole county, and if you divide it up 3 ways, it might take 6 to 12 months to sell, which is okay. You just got to be careful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the next thing you got to work through. So first thing is market demand. You got to pick the right market, which means demand. But the next things you got to figure out is, can you make money in that market? Okay. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at Hernando County. I'm now going to look at 50 acres and above. All right. We're going to do no max. We're going to look at properties that are 50 acres and above.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Now I'm going to go to sold, and I'm going to go to the last 6 months. Well, let's see here. When were these sold? I didn't see any pop up.
In the last 6 months?
I didn't
No,
see any properties over 50 acres that have sold. I don't
nope.
see any. Right? Now let me see if I can do a year.
You got some 48.3, but that's not necessarily.
Not 58 and above, huh? All right,
No.
let's try 10 to 50 acres. Okay, a lot of 10 to 50 acre properties,
Mhm.
right? A lot of 10 to 50s. So where I look is I look a little bit more rural, and this is, a little bit more developed, right?
Mhm.
But you can see here's a 10-acre lot that sold for $500,000. So 50,000 an acre. Here's one 26,000 an acre. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is look at this one. 20 acres, 325,000. So my mind thinks if I can buy 20 acres for 325 and people are paying 500 for 10, maybe there's a deal there. Maybe. Here's 10 acres for 360, 36,000 an acre. Here's 46 for $1 million. Okay, so let's say you were able to develop this 46-acre property and cut it up 4 different ways. Well, if you did that and you sold 10-acre tracts 4 times, you'd kind of get $2 million based on 50,000 an acre.
Mhm.
Now, would you be able to do that here? Let's look at it. You might be able to. Let's pull up this property and see if I can figure it out. Because that's the next step, is trying to figure out, can you actually subdivide this into an actual thing? So if I look at the listing here, 46 acres, made of 3 parcels of land, all 3 are buildable, so you can build 3 homes. So that's telling me you might be able to subdivide it 3 different ways. Now the question is, what are each of those 3 worth? Well, that's where you need to go and compare this with location with what these others are selling for. Now, if it's near this property and as beautiful as this or has certain amenities, you might be able to get 50,000 an acre. But if it's more like, this property, that's 26,000 an acre. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's where you got to kind of figure out, okay, what am I able to do? So the best thing I can show you is a real life example. So let me go to Monroe County, Georgia. So Monroe County, Georgia. It's where I bought one of my properties. So let's see. So Monroe County, Georgia. So take a look at this one. So, but you see how there's more here. There's 20 acres, 215. So what is that? 10,000 an acre?
Mhm.
18 acres, 170, about the same. 20 acres, 150, a little less. 30 acres, 425, a little more, but it's around 10,000 an acre, right? 179 for 15. It's around $10,000 an acre is what 20 acre parcels, 20 plus acre parcels are selling for. It looks like, right?
Mhm.
20, 10,000 an acre, pretty close. Now,
And you're at the what acre range are you looking at?
well, right, I think I had it 10 to 50.
Okay, 10 to 50. Okay.
Now let me go higher than that. So it's about $10,000 an acre if I'm getting 10 to 50 acres. Now let me go no max and 50 and above. So now 50 and above, you can see this is less than 10,000 an acre. This is less than 10,000 an acre. This is less than 10,000 an acre. So you can see the more acres you get, the less cost per acre. So right there, remember those 20-acre tracts were $10,000 an acre. So if on this one, I'm able to buy this property right here, 55 acres for $400,000. Let's look at this. So $400,000 divided by 55, right there, $7,200 an acre. Now, if I was able to chop that up two different ways, looking at this, if I could subdivide this two ways, which on this one you can't really because there's only one road, or maybe you could come in here, make this a lot, drive a road here, make this a lot. You already know 20-acre properties are selling for 10,000. So you now can make money on that, right?
How would you determine, how would you confirm that you can or cannot subdivide a piece of a deal?
So that is where you then need to call the county. Okay. And you basically ask them, hey, I'm looking to do some minor subdivides. If I had a 20-acre piece of property or a 50-acre, and you're looking for two things, how many times am I able to subdivide land? And are there any restrictions or road frontage that I need? And they might tell you, well, you need 200 foot of actual road frontage per property. Well, if you need 200 and this is 50, that ain't going to work. And basically, each time you get a property under contract, you can call the local company and figure that out, right?
What department in the county is responsible
The
for
planning and
this?
zoning the planning and zoning department.
Perfect.
Yep, the planning and zoning department is what you want there. Okay. So let me show you the one that I did. Let me see if address Lassiter Road. Let me show you some examples here. So let's look at this piece of land right here. See this piece of land? It's 500 and, well, this whole thing is 500 and something acres. Have you used the land portal before?
I've heard of it though. I think the Apke brothers I heard it from the Apke brothers.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's what I use. So that's what this is. So let's say I'm looking at this piece of land right here. I meet this landowner. Okay. And let's just 73 acres. And let's say properties that are 73 acres are going for $8,000 an acre. But 20-acre parcels in that county are going for $16,000 an acre. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is, all right, how many times could I divide this up and sell it off? How big are the parcels? How many times can I subdivide it? And then what could I actually get? So let's say in this county, and I know for a fact, in this county, you could probably buy this for, I mean, if they're motivated, $8,000 an acre. Okay. Now, if I want to subdivide it, I got to figure out a couple things. One, what are the rules and regulations? And in this county, I know that you need to have about 200 feet of road frontage. But you see here, look at this road frontage. This is road frontage. This is road frontage. And this is road frontage. That's a lot of road frontage. So with something like this, you might be able to do something like this, right? Do something like this, right? Do something like this. I mean, you might be able to get a lot of lots here. Now, a lot of times they might say you have to have at least 5 acres. You might have to have, you can only subdivide it 4 different ways. It depends on the county. And that's the next thing that you got to figure out is the first thing is there demand for smaller parcels of land in the market? Next thing is, can I buy a bigger piece of land and subdivide it and sell it for double the amount that I'm buying it for? And the third thing is, will the county actually allow me to subdivide a land in a simple, easy way that's not going to take a lot of time and money? Those are the 3 things. So repeat back. Quick. What did you just hear me say?
So basically, it varies county by county on the rules and regulations of how you can subdivide, how quickly it will take, and how much money it will cost. And road frontage seems to be the biggest thing in regards to how you can cut up these parcels.
And sometimes they only let you subdivide one piece of land a certain amount of times.
Gotcha. Okay, so there's a limit. Some counties, depending on the politics, only allow you to divide it a certain amount of, like, cut it up a certain amount of times. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And then I did have a question about when it comes to subdividing. Let's just say they tell you, like, okay, you could cut it up 5 different times, right? Do you, like, how does that process get executed? Do they send a survey out there? Like, what, like,
Yep.
what's the,
So
like,
all
it's
I
very
do,
interesting what you did.
all I do is I'll call kind of the county to figure it out. I get it under contract, and then I find 2 to 3 local surveyors. And I said, hey, this is after I have it under contract. Hey, I have this parcel of land. I will send them a drawing of what I think it could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll go and then say, hey, this is a quote for me to subdivide it, get you a survey. This is the process. This is how long it would take. And then you kind of figure that out from there, right? So here's one that we're doing right here. So look at this one. Okay, so this is actually a road right here. And we drew this up on our own map. We got under contract. We got 60 days due diligence. So we could at least have some time because it takes surveyors a month or two to do a survey. But before I pay a surveyor, I want to call the county and at least make sure that we can do what we're thinking of doing. So I would even send the county this and like the parcel number, say, hey, could I do this? And then they say yes, I at least have a potential like yes. And then I'll go to a surveyor, 3 of them, because you never know who can move fast, who's good, who's bad. Send them, hey, I'm looking to do a subdivide. I need to do a survey. What's your process? This is the property. This is what I'm thinking the drawing should be. And then they're going to help you work through, well, actually, I actually don't think this is the right drawing. What about this, this, and this? Or there's actually a lot of water here. You actually can't build a house here. So this is actually just going to be one big lot because you can't build here. You can just build here. And that's
And
where you just got to work.
those little circles is where I'm assuming those. I'm sorry, the little rectangles is where I'm assuming is the buildable area of.
That's what we thought was the buildable area.
Oh, the little ones.
Yeah, these little things here, these little 0.63, 0.46,
Mm-hmm.
that's the house. That's where we are going to see if we could build a house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we sent this to a surveyor, and a surveyor went out. They said, hey, you can't build a house there. The soil's not good.
Okay.
So then they'll send us back their proposal of when we can actually and what we can actually do.
Okay.
Now, on here, you can actually, let me show you this actual piece of land so then you can see. So Land Portal is great for this, right? Because it's a few bucks and you can get all your data, you can pull your properties and all of that kind of stuff, right? Let me see if I can find you. Find the actual property here. See, so the way I do it is you just go up here and you'll type in like the count. You can look it up by APN. So you just put in West Virginia, Preston here. Let's see if this pulls up. So these are the other things when you get on here to look at. Oh, let me get rid of this. Is you can go over here and see a 3D view and see how that kind of shows you the slope. See how sloped that is?
Okay.
So you can't really build up there unless you want to build a really expensive road. Right? But you could build down here. No problem. Now down here, it looks like, see how it's sloping down?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I go over here, floodplain, water. Now it's not only that it's sloping down, but there's water and a floodplain down here. So when we actually got out there, we wanted to make sure, one, we could build here and we could build here. And what they said was you can really just build here and here. So we're going to have 4 lots and 2 lots. But You do that after you have it under contract and after you're kind of thinking what you may or may not be able to do, right? Cool.
What plan of land portal do you have? What pricing plan?
I don't even know. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But this is what I use to do my property, kind of analyze the property and figure out what I could draw out.
Okay.
And it's how I get my list of properties. So let's say let's do a filtered search here. What was the one county that you wanted to do? Hernando.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I'm looking at vacant lots. This is
Mm-hmm.
just land. I'm just looking at land. This is how you're going to pull your list of properties. State, Florida, county, Hernando. And what we're looking at there is we're trying to find properties that are probably 20 acres and above, because we might want to subdivide it into 10-acre parcels, because it seems like 10-acre parcels are pretty in demand there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do here out of county owner, out of state owner. I don't really mess with that.
Mm-hmm.
Last sale date, I don't think you really need to mess with it on there, honestly. But that's just like when it sold last.
Mm-hmm.
This is like how much floodplain there is. I typically do 20%, because you can't
Mm-hmm.
just find land that's underwater. You can't build, right?
Mm-hmm.
Road frontage, I probably want 500 feet of road frontage, because remember, if a county's getting, and this depends on the county, but you probably want a few hundred feet of road frontage if you're going to parcel it off. So I'll put 500. And then let's apply and let's see what we got. See how many properties we got. We got 379 properties.
Wow.
That's a lot. So that's where you could do more road frontage. I like doing this one. Corporate owned, I put no. So let's see what that does. Now there's only 48. That's
Wow.
a lot. So that tells me there's a lot of corporations and business people that own property there. They have an LLC. I like to find properties that are owned by a person, because maybe they just inherited it or whatever. And then I go
Mm-hmm.
here and check a look at, there's my 48 properties. So I can go here, click on this one, and I can kind of see, all right, wow. I mean, this one right here, my friend, if you can get this one, this is great. 39 acres. Check this out. There's people that want to live in this area, right? I mean, there's little lots here, little lots here. I mean, people want, so let's look at this one. Let's look at this property. See how big this one is. Why is it not letting me do it? So this obviously, this piece of land right here, 5 acres. So people want 5 acres in this area. Look at all these 5-acre tracts in a home. So if you could buy this with
Put them
this
up in
road frontage, you got double road frontage. You got a road here and a highway here. So you'd have to make sure you can actually turn in off of this road. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no wetlands. You might be able to do something like this. There's 11 acres. There's another 12-acre parcel. And you might even be able to, what in the world? You might even be able to do something like this too, depending on how many times this county lets you subdivide it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to write down this property. That's a great one. You don't usually find something like that right away. But you get something like this, and this county lets you subdivide it 5 ways, and you got enough road frontage here, because look at your road frontage. You got 1,200 feet there, and you got another 2,500. I mean, this is a prime area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right near this golf course. My goodness gracious. So going back to Land Portal, you can go through and cherry pick all the properties you really like. So you're not going after just a bunch of different properties. You're only talking to and going after properties you can make money on if they're wanting to sell. And that's where a lot of people spend their time, is dealing with properties in markets that aren't good markets. We've already talked about that. And dealing with properties that you can't even subdivide and make money on because you need certain amount of qualifications. Or if this county only lets you subdivide it twice, now you know you can only subdivide it twice, right? And you can kind of go through here and kind of be looking for properties. I mean, look at this one. It's another good one, right? I mean, look at this. It's right off a highway. You could do something like this, right? You know, you could probably split this off 3 ways. There's a wetland here, so you might have to, you know, this might be a parcel. It depends on how many times they let you split it. You might be able to do, you know, something like this. You know, there's a driveway in, the house is here. You might be able to do it multiple ways. So that's where you just got to kind of talk to the counties and figure that out, right? Now, going back to it, the thing that I would be hesitant on in Hernando is just how quickly these properties are selling. But that's where you can call a local real estate agent that sells land. So if you go back to Zillow, what I like to do before picking a market is I'll go into Hernando County. Oh, where are we at here? I'll go back in Hernando. And I'll go sold land 5 to call it 50 acres so we can at least get some. And I'll go and find out who sold this. I'll go and click here and I'll go and see if an agent sold this. Looks like, there you go. Write her name, write her number down. Call her. Say, hey, I'm looking for some property in the area. I am an investor. I'm trying to find some land that I can maybe buy 20 acres or more, subdivide it. What can you tell me about the area? Because I see that you're doing a good job selling properties. I'm going to need somebody to help me sell it. And then you just talk to people. And then you can start figuring out what areas, what do they think about the market? If you talk to 3 agents per county that do business, you're going to kind of understand. And you can even ask them, what are the regulations? Because they obviously know them because they're probably already working with the counties. So I would even work with the agents too, and that will even tell you about the rules and regulations, about the market, what the prices are, any advice.
I'm still here. I can still hear you. Give me 1 second.
You're good. Take your time.
But yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I would do a couple of things. So here's main takeaway so far. Number 1, let me pull up my market ratios. That's my sheet. Where's my market ratios at?
And when you get that pulled up, I want to revisit the sold and for sale stuff real quick.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So a couple of things that we need to do first. Market velocity. That's the first thing you got to do. We're going to go through that again. Market velocity. And then we got to figure out comps. And with comps, we're trying to figure out, you know, what under 10-acre properties are selling for and kind of over 10 acres. Because we're trying to find that arbitrage where properties that are selling for more than 20 acres are a certain price, but you can subdivide it and sell it for more if it's lower, right? Okay. And then the next thing is the county regulations. And the next thing is agents in the area. And the agents in the area will even help you answer some of those questions and give you some ideas. But going and getting the data yourself for market velocity and comps is probably a pretty good place to start. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, what questions do we have here for?
Real quick. So with market velocity, going back, I believe you mentioned it was sell-through rate that we were looking at. How many properties were for sale as opposed to how many properties are, I'm sorry, how many properties are for sale as opposed to how many properties done sold, right?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. And then what would you
Over
say would
over
be
a
a,
90-day period and a 6-month period.
and what would you say it would be a good percentage to indicate like, okay, if it's over this is if it's over this percentage, red hot. If it's under this
I like
percentage,
I've definitely, it's got to be 100% in 6 months.
100% in 6 months.
Yeah.
Anything under 100% would kind of be like,
You
eh,
just, it's not a yay or a nay. It's just, you got to kind of understand and look at the data too.
gotcha.
Because
Okay.
if I'm looking at this, I'm actually clicking on all these properties because some of these might not even be like real good comps.
Mm-hmm.
If I look at this, let's see, 20 acres, build your dream home. So it definitely looks like it's a home building site, which is our
Mm-hmm.
goal. You just want to make sure it's actually a recreational land where somebody can build a home because that's what you're doing. You're trying, so you want to make sure all these comps are actually real. They're not fake. They're not, whatever. So you almost got to verify the data too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, we're not trying to go really wide. We're trying to go really niche into a few counties. Because you only had 300 prospects in that one county and only 50 that weren't owned by an LLC.
Yeah. That lets you know there's a lot of business owners like that are maybe probably bullish out there or something, depending on the time frame that they bought.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. I mean, some people might just set up an LLC and do it on the internet and they don't know what they're doing. But I have found that the majority are people that are just mom and pop type of owners. You can't buy from a professional that's doing land.
Yeah.
You're not going to make money. That's like
Right.
sitting down at a poker table and everybody's a poker pro. Good luck.
Right.
You could get lucky, but you got to sit down with around a poker table and nobody knows what they're doing, or they're just kind of okay with not making money. They're kind of just okay, just getting a good deal and cashing out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's what you'll figure out when you start talking to people is why do they actually want to sell? I call it this, and this is the next thing to kind of when you're actually talking to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
I call it the STMP.
STMP. Okay.
It's get their story, build a relationship, figure out who they are, how they came to own the land, how do they use the land, and then what's your timeline? Are you actually looking to sell? Short term, long term? Oh, why are you looking to sell? Motivation. And then price. Do you have an idea? I just started looking in the area. I didn't even, did you have a price in mind you were looking to get for the land? And then that's what you do on that call. And then
STMP.
whatever,
So story, timeline, motivation, and price.
that's it. Yep. And I
Okay.
just
Yeah.
kind of write that. I write that here, and that way I don't forget those things.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the most important thing is just story and asking questions.
Yeah. Kind
And
of
then
like
trying
discovery,
to,
basically.
what's that?
Discovery based selling. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. You're just trying to figure out, do they have to sell? Do they not? What are their pain points? What's important to them? What do they buy it for? When do they buy it? What's going on? And then that'll helps you in your negotiation. And most importantly, trying to figure out, do they have a time that they need to sell by? And are they actually motivated to sell? Yeah. Because I just find that you got to kind of find people that are, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can't really force anybody to like, you can't persuade them. They really have to already have made that decision months and that weeks before we've even gotten on the phone. And then it's just us, coming up to the forefront is confirming or validating that decision they've already made. They just haven't talked to the right person yet.
You're the solution to their problem.
Yep.
That's it. But they have to have a problem. And you can't make somebody realize they have a problem. Good luck.
Yeah.
Right. So
Great.
now, if they're not ready, that's where you just need to follow up with them until they are ready. And then if you talk to them, follow up with a text or follow up with whatever and just be like, hey, we talked a couple months ago. I was just reaching back out to you. The property we're buying in Anderson, South Carolina, you gotta look at this one. I'll show you so it'll give you an idea. He wanted $2 million. and which doesn't really mean anything because you don't know if that's a good deal or a bad deal. But he he wanted $2 million, and I just kind of built a relationship, followed up with him, and then 60 days later, he's like, "Hey, 650." I didn't even
650.
yeah, I didn't even make him an offer.
Oh
Now,
wow.
it wasn't worth 2, but it wasn't worth 6. It probably would sell today if I had to flip it for about $1 million. But I'm going to subdivide it and probably get 1.4 for it. But take a look at this. Here's the piece of land. This is a road. This is a road. So anything double road frontage is good. So you can see how I'm able to chop it up into individual lots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the other drawing. That's a road. That's a road. Now, this county, you can make it 5-acre parcels all day long, and you don't have to get any planning, any approval, anything you want to do. You can just do it. So I was going to do something like this. 6 acres, 6 acres, 6 acres, 6 acres, 17. I was going to do that. It was going to be really simple because all I needed was 200 feet of road frontage, which I have, and that's it. It's going to be easy. Now I was only going to be able to get like 12, 13,000 an acre for these. But when I worked with a local surveyor and a local land broker, they kind of came up with this idea. And I'm like, well, more lots, more price per acre, because typically the smaller the lots, the more price per acre. And if I look at this county, hope I don't embarrass myself here. I'm glad I'm doing this right now because I haven't bought this one yet. I got under contract. They were doing the survey yesterday.
Okay.
Anderson County, South Carolina. All right, you following my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do 5 to 10 acres. It's kind of what we're selling. Most of these are 5 to 10. Let's go for sale. Let's go 90 days. 16 for sale. 5 sold. So that's not great. Now let's look at 6 months. Sold 26. For sale 17. So you can see 6 months is a lot better than 3 months. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, if I even scroll out a little longer, so that's good, right? Because that's, what was it, 17 and 26. That's a pretty good, that's well over 100%, which is what our goal was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the 100% goal. It's how many actually sold. Because if there was 2 listed and 6 sold, that's 300%. But that's only 6 properties sold. And if you're going to chop it up 13 ways, you'll die of old age before you can sell off all these lots.
Not a lot of movement.
You got to have movement. Got to have movement. Now, when I got the property under contract, I started figuring out who was selling these properties. I talked to a couple land brokers. I got their information. I called the city. I figured out what I could do. And then we go, right? We go because we know we got an opportunity there. Let's see what it is in the last 12 months. Because this one's going to take 12 months to sell probably. 47, 22. Look at that, man. We're in great shape. I mean, 47 properties sold in 12 months. We got 13, but only 22 are listed. So we got, I mean, this is why I'm doing this property, right?
And now it's really you're just not, I wouldn't say timing the market, but essentially you're going based on previous history to let you know, like, hey, give or take, this is how long it'll take to sell.
Yeah. Now, here's the challenge. You got to skate to where the puck is going, not where it is. You know what I mean by that?
Say that one more time.
You got to skate to where the puck is going, not where it is.
Okay. That's my first time hearing that, but I would definitely love to get the breakdown of that analogy.
Got to figure out a way to predict the future. Not
Okay.
where is the market today over the last 90 days, but where is it going?
Gotcha.
Because for all I know, it's great for the last 6 months, but new president, interest rates, they built some plant in that area and it just got approved 2 weeks ago. And now everybody's moving away and hiding in a bomb shelter. It doesn't matter what happened over the last 90 days or 6 months because there was an oil spill in that county and ain't nobody going to go there no more.
Right.
Or, well, Tesla stock's gone down 30% and, Bitcoin's gone down 20% and nobody's got no more money anymore. The market's slowing down. Well, I got to be careful. That's why you have to have margin when you buy these deals. And you got to talk to local real estate agents. And if you're buying something, I like finding areas that you can go to, especially if you get it under contract, because you kind of want to sniff around, right? You kind of want to sniff around. Or you just go to areas and get deals under contract where buyers are already, and then you just tie it up and then you give it to them and they go do all this, they do all the work for you, right? Because I would do that all day long. If you found some properties in, the Southeast, you could assign to me all day long. Like if you found me this one, I mean, I'd probably pay a $50,000 fee, right? Easy. Now, if you wanted to partner on it, we could figure that out too. But that's where you also got to figure out what's your exit strategy, right?
Right.
How do you want to make your money? Okay.
Okay. I do have I don't know if you want to look at this deal that was sent to me by agent, maybe we could break it down and I can get your thoughts on it.
Sure. Now, what I will say is probably not a good deal.
You say what now?
Probably not a good deal, but could be, right? Now, my thing is, if it's for sale in the open market, everybody knows about it. So if it was sent to you by an agent, but it's not listed, you got a lot better chance there.
Yes, it is. It's not listed at all as of right now.
Let's pull it up. What do you got for me?
Let's see. It is 36 acres.
All right. Give me
And
an address or like a
parcel number.
yeah.
I pull up a land portal.
Yeah, I got it pulled up.
I got a parcel number.
What county? So remember, before we do the look at this deal, you got to make sure the market velocity is okay. The comps are good, meaning you think there can be money made in arbitrage by paying more for 30 acres, being able to do it for 10. Got to make sure the county's willing to let you subdivide it a couple ways. And that's kind of it, right? So as long as we're good there, we're good. All right, what county?
Let me pull it up. I have the city, but I don't know what county this is in. Hold on. I don't even know how to pronounce this city. It's in Georgia though. Uh Toccoa?
Yeah,
Toccoa.
yeah. So it's probably, is it Banks County, Toccoa County, or Toccoa County?
Stevens County
Stevens County.
or
Great.
Stephens County, yeah.
Yep. Great. Cool. That's an hour and a half from me. Beautiful up there. All right, parcel number.
All right, I have a 039B
Yeah,
dash 184.
got it. Strategic Lending Solutions LLC. All right, so let's pull this thing up.
Yep. That team.
Oh, this is interesting. It's like they already made a subdivision. All right, let me pull this up. All right, you see it here?
Yep.
This is weird. So they're selling this piece of land, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm looking at zoning out. I'm like, okay, it's kind of far up here, kind of near Greenville, Atlanta. It's not really within an hour of any big city, but whatever. Okay. All right. So what do they want for the property?
600,000.
600,000. Okay. So 600,000. Now, as I'm looking around this area, I'm seeing lots of empty lots.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know if that's accurate as of today. Maybe there's houses in here, but I'm seeing a lot of empty lots. Like individual people own these, but they're all owned. A lot of them are owned by LLCs. Oasis owns a bunch of them.
Hmm.
Maybe Oasis developed this property. Oasis. So maybe Oasis already subdivided this and they're selling these off. So I would try to figure out is what is going on over here.
Okay.
There's your address. What doesn't even have an address, but I try to figure out like what is this all about? Because that's obviously a subdivision, right?
Hmm.
And this is obviously a subdivision or could be a subdivision, right? It looks like
Hmm.
because that's what they're selling, right?
Yep. And then he's basically the backstory that the agent gave me. And this wasn't even a real estate agent. This was like some type of I think he does like insurance or tax or whatever. He's not even in real estate, but basically he got in contact with this person. He does some flips here and there, and then he has no idea what to do with this piece of land. The person who referred it to me, and he basically saying that the seller just wants to get his money out of it because a long time ago, back in like '04 or '08, they originally planned to build a community here, and then something ended up happening and it ended up not working out. The seller's like 80 something, and he just wants to get his money out.
That's a great story to hear, right? I mean, that's the type of story you need. So what we got to figure out is all right. So let's just look up. Let's figure out what the market tells us. Stevens County, Georgia. And what we also got to figure out is how big, what do we want to subdivide this into, right? I mean, what's in demand? Because these are obviously 1 acre lots, So
Mm-hmm.
let's look at Stevens for sale. And let's look at land, but let's look at smaller ones. Let's look at like 1 acre to 2 acre lots. Because we can obviously, it seems like you could probably build this into some of these things, right? Seems like it. Maybe these
Mm-hmm.
are actually maybe not, right? And that's where you got to kind of figure out from the county, like, can you subdivide, it's just kind of funky, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's weird.
Like I'm guessing this is probably a lot, but then, like it's already built out to be subdivided. It looks like, right?
Yep.
To an extent, like that's probably a lot. That's a lot, you know, that's maybe a lot, it's already built out to be subdivided.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I go to Stevens for sale 10 and that's the last 12 months.
And what you're looking at, 20 to 50?
I'm just doing 1 to 2.
Oh, okay, 1 to 2. Okay.
10 and 16. So 16 1 acre lots, 1 to 2 acre lots have sold within the last 12 months. And then let's look at kind of 2 to 5. $21 have sold. 14 for sale. So it's not bad, right? Not bad. That's just 2 to 5. Now, what we got to figure out is first, how are you actually going to subdivide this property? What's legal and what's the highest and best use? And if this is a road, I don't know. The way I'm looking at it, it's maybe just this, and that's a 3 acre parcel. This is I don't know the drawing. So that's a 4-acre parcel. You know, this this might be a nice little 6-acre parcel. Doesn't look like they might own this. So you might have a 1-acre lot there. Maybe they put a house here. Maybe there's a house here and a house here. It's kind of weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's just pretend for a second we can sell some 4 to 5 acre lots here.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's look at what 2 to 5 acre lots. Okay. Now let's figure out what they're selling for. Okay. 2 to 5 acre lots. 56,000. So 56,000 divided by 3.3, or 56 divided by 3.3 is 16,000 an acre. 50
Between 2 to
divided by,
5.
well, 56,000, and they for 3.39 acres.
Oh, okay.
16,000 an acre. 50,000 divided by 3 is 16,000 an acre. 79 divided by 3.7 is 21,000 an acre. 60 divided by 3 is 20,000. 60 divided by 3 is 20. So it's maybe, call it $17,000 an acre is what 5-acre parcels are selling for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 5-acre parcels, or 6 5-acre parcels, because it's 30 acres. So 6 times 5 is 30. We got 5-acre parcels, and they're selling for $17,000 an acre. So $17,000 per acre. And we got 5 different parcels at 31 acres total. That's $527,000.
Mm.
But you want 600,000, it don't work.
Right.
But if he's willing to negotiate and he can get him down to, if he really wants to sell, I can give him 275, 250, 250 maybe. Now you got 50% margin. That's when you got a deal. Because
Right.
it seems like, let's see how many 5 to 10 acre parcels are going out there. Not a ton of 5 to 10s, but I think you're going to be selling a lot of 5-acre parcels based on this, right?
Gotcha.
But the price is just way too high based on what I'm seeing with my initial feedback.
Makes
Now,
sense.
what if you're able to do a bunch of 1-acre lots? One, I'd just be really nervous because there's all these things over here, and I don't even know what they're building over here. It looks like it's its own little community that's on the river or something, right?
Right. Yeah. Waterfront.
Yeah, which is kind of nice. But maybe somebody wants some 2-acre bigger houses over here. Who knows? And that's where you kind of got to know the area. So what I would do is I do an initial analysis like this. I try to figure out how long, how many times could I actually break this up? How long would it actually take to sell? What am I going to get per acre? And what's my total sell price? And in this situation, my quick ballpark guess was 527. And if they want 600, hey, I got to kind of just be like, hey, I don't know how bad they need to sell it, but from what I'm seeing, that's kind of nowhere near. Do you have any idea, like, if they actually do need to sell and what the best they would do? And then you just let them talk and then see.
Yeah.
Then you can always make an offer for half of what you think it's going to be worth when you sell it, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of it, right?
Gotcha. Sweet. Okay. I do have a question, a couple of things that I'd like to cover. Um, as far as like with funding, because I think I spoke to you about, funding deals and stuff like that. I think you said you either self-fund or you raise money for deals and stuff like that. How does that typically work? And then how would that work if I bring you a deal that I need funding for?
So the way that I raise money is, let's say you have this property and you're going to buy it for $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Based on all the things we talked about today, you're going to chop it up 5 different ways and you're going to sell it for $1 million. You need $550,000 to put in to buy it, put in the roads, do the surveys, all that. So you got to raise 550,000. You're going to sell it for $1 million. You know, you could go to friends and family and say, "Hey, look, I'm buying a property for 550. Do you want to buy it, own it with me, and split the profit?" Maybe. Because if they're going to invest 550 and you're going to make 450, they invest 550 and they make 200 and something $1,000 over 12 months. That's not a bad deal. Right? You make 200,000, you don't have to put any money in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one way. The other way is to find somebody like me that can help walk you through the process, do it with you, partner with you, because when I did my first subdivide deal, like you just see things you don't realize and you don't know what to do. And in that situation, you just kind of assign the deal and maybe you just get paid a fee and then you learn the process and you make a fee when the property sells. And then if you want to partner on it, you can partner on it. It's a smaller percentage on your first deal or two, because in my situation, like I do all the work. I don't let other people do the subdivide process because it's really risky and there's a lot of things you got to check, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the goal is just find a deal and bring it, because whether it's me or it's somebody in my network, like if there's margin, we're going to figure out a way to make it work. You just got to do the upfront homework to realize the market's good, meaning it'll sell within 12 months. The comps make sense. I could sell it and make money. The county's going to let me subdivide it the amount of ways I think, and then get it under contract. And make sure when you get it under contract, you put in your contract that you can assign it to somebody else, right?
Gotcha.
And then once you got under contract, then you have the power, and then you have the time, and then you go about it like that, right? And then
Sweet.
you fill out this document here. Let me show you this document.
Perfect. We're insane. Are you going to the performa?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Foremost. So,
Perfect segue.
right. Yep. Because that's where you can fill this information out and then kind of present it to me in a way that makes sense. So, like if you were to send me a deal, I need to see the market velocity. You got to fill that out.
Can we fill all of this out together, right? Like as a like let's just say we're presenting a deal
Yeah, sure.
or okay, sure.
So market velocity, this is simple, right? It's just for sale last 90 days, and you'll put, hey, 10 were for sale, sold 10, 20. And there's your percentage, 200%.
Oh, okay. So two for sale, 2 to 5 acres, last 90 days, 10, sold 2 to 5. Okay, gotcha. So you just toggle back and forth. Okay.
Yeah. And then let's say 5 to 10, it's, well, 12 have sold or 17 have been listed. And then, 11 have sold. Now we're at 64%. Remember, we're trying to be like 100% over
Mm-hmm.
6 months, right? So you got to fill this out and you get this information from Zillow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Comps, you can put those in here as well. And what I do with comps is you can basically just put comps, meaning, here's comps. This would be sold comps. And you could put the county, the APN, the address, the acres, the sale price, and the price per acre. So you just get that from Zillow. And you can put the Zillow link in there and the land portal link. Because if you're going to present me a deal and you're going to say, hey, I think we could sell it for this, I need to know comps that have actually sold. And you just fill that out on here. And you're going to need this for an investor or anybody anyway, because they're going to want to see this stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And then competing listings, you're also looking for properties that are actively listed as well, because you also need to know like what's active in the market. And if there's 100 listings out there, like there might be too many listings right now, and supply might be tightening up, right? Okay. That's what you fill out there. And you get competing listings from Zillow. You get sold from Zillow. And you just want to make sure you look it up on Land Portal and Zillow to make sure it's an actual good comp, meaning it's a very comparable property to the one that is what you're buying, right?
When you're looking at comps, are you looking just at size, or I think I've seen something on here that says something about road frontage, or is how much?
Both, right? Yes. Size, road frontage, slope of the property, right? because you want to make sure it's very similar to what yours is. Meaning, if you're looking at a 30-acre piece of land that could be subdivided 5 ways, you're trying to find comps that are near 30 acres that you think could be subdivided as well.
Okay.
It's got road frontage or whatever, right? And then you just
Competing
fill that out.
listings for property full size, sold comps for subdivides.
Yep.
So are we breaking them down into like what do you like full size? We're meaning like, okay, we're comparing 30 acres to 30 acres. Subdivides, we're getting 5-acre lots or 10-acre lots, whatever we think we could subdivide.
Yep.
Competing listing. Okay, got you. Okay, I follow it now.
So
Okay.
you're trying to see what's listed for 5 acres as well, so you can see, well, there's these properties are listed at 16,000 for 5 acres. Well, we could probably list ours for 13 and probably make some money.
Gotcha.
And that's where up here in the pro forma, you're going to tell me how many tracks you're going to break it into, how many acres per track, how much road frontage there is, what the active listings per acre are, what the sold comps are per acre, and then what you want to list it for per acre. And then that'll tell you. So if you put in here, okay, active listings 20,000, sold 18,000. Okay. It actually puts a formula in here. So it kind of tells you what you can list it per acre, but I kind of change this sometime. And I might be like, all right, well, I'm going to list it for 15,000 an acre. And then you kind of put all your numbers in here, right? And then eventually this will total up of, what you can ultimately sell all these tracks for, right?
And this is depending on how many tracks you're
Yeah.
splitting up or subdividing.
Yeah, you might have 30 acres and 4 tracks. Then you just get rid of 5 and 6 and you put how many acres, the road frontage, what you want to list it for, and then the comparables and actives. I got this comp and market velocity. And these 3 tabs are really all you need, right? To at least analyze a deal. This stuff is after you get it under contract and all the things you actually need to do to verify it's a good deal. But these 3 are the real things you need. And this doesn't take you a long time. This might take you a little bit of time to get comps for stuff. But then, the big thing is just finding the deals, right?
Is there a way where you could show me this performer, that one that's already filled out with one that you've already used or presented in the past?
Sure. All right. Here's one that I'm trying to buy. We got under contract. So he's got, where am I
All
at?
right. So you got the person who brought it, row frontage, the total
So let's
acres.
see here. So here's the tracks. Okay. I'm going to do it in 4 different, it's actually 4 different tracks. So this should be 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're doing 2 different tracks. It's 30 acres, 7.5 an acre. We're breaking into 4 equal tracks. That's the amount of road frontage. Active listing price per acre. Those are the active ones in the market being sold right now. These are the ones that have actually been sold, right? So you can see maybe the market's going down a little bit, but we're going to list it for 19, 19, 16, and 16. Because these 2 have, they're not nearly as pretty of a lot. You got to build a road in there, and they're on a hill. And you can kind of see there, if we're able to do this, 525, and we're buying it for 250. Now, when we buy it for 250, we got to do a soil test. We got to do some land clearing. I got an assignment fee I'm paying. So my real cost is 311. And, worst case scenario, 444. So it's kind of tight, but I do think 525 is going to happen. So you can see it's almost a double, right? And that's kind of it. And then you can see comps in here. Here's my comps. 11 acres, 40,000 an acre. 10 acres, 55,000 an acre, 11 acres, 31,000 an acre. And you can see how I have the links in here to go over all these, right? And then here's some other ones that are smaller. 5 acres, 25K, 5 acres, 24K, 5 acres, 22K. Well, if you remember, we're listening for 19K, and that's pretty good, right? My market velocity, 5 to 10 acres, 10 for sale, 22 sold, 220%. That's pretty good.
Gotcha. So you're looking at least 90 days. Your exit is between 90 to 6 months, 90 days and 6 months, basically.
In this situation, we think it could be up to a year to sell 4 parcels, but I don't think it would take that amount of time.
Gotcha.
And how I know that is I got 2 brokers' opinions, and I talked to brokers and I asked them, and what have you sold? What haven't you sold? I look at Zillow, and he said, hey, it could take up to a year, but I could see them all being gone in 4 to 6 months. So 4 to 6 months, not quite a double, but it'd be a little bit more than that. That's pretty good. Right. And I'll show you, see if I can, do I have pictures on here? Here we go. I had a couple different drawings. So this is, he actually owns a house, and I'm going to subdivide land off of the house, right? So you can kind of see it. So let's see if I can. See how I went through multiple renditions here? There's your 7-acre tract. So that's what I'm ultimately doing, right? And you can see how these are all in woods. And this is a little bit more sloped. This has a little bit more buildable green space. So that's why these are going to be more money. What questions do you have there?
This is in Georgia?
This one's in Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay, gotcha. Okay. And then do you do deals nationwide, or do you have like a specific market that you is just wherever?
No, I'm looking very specific counties. And I like that I can drive to and get back to in a day. Right. Like I can leave at 6 in the morning, get there by 10, 11, work till 5, come home, get in bed by 10. Right. Like, and it's not like you have to go to properties very often. You really don't. But, and you can do overnight trips and stuff like that. But what I would find is 4 or so counties that you really, 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 really know they're great counties. Okay. Now let me get you our criteria. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I think you were about to say it. I was gonna ask, do you share those to people for people to send you deals? And
Well, if they send me deals, I'm just gonna be like, send me the market velocity report. So doesn't matter.
gotcha. Okay.
Right. So the only way you can really send me a deal is fill out that form, and that's proving to yourself it's a good deal.
Okay.
Most people don't really want to do that work, because you got to prove to yourself it's a good deal before, and you don't want somebody else telling you it's a good deal anyway. You need to tell yourself it's a good deal, and you need somebody else to tell you it's not a good deal.
Right.
Not somebody else to tell you. You need to, if you ever submit to somebody, tell me why this deal sucks.
Right.
And then I will. Don't worry. I'll poke it. I'll poke it. Right.
Gotcha.
Now look, when you build your list, this is a criteria you want. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking. So this is when you go into Land Portal. So if you go into Land Portal, remember how I showed you how to pull that property list? I like to build lists of 15 to 30 acre properties, 30 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100, and 100 and above. This is the amount of road frontage that I like to see with this amount of acres. And this is the amount of wetlands And I really don't want to buy properties if they've been sold within the last couple of years either. I want somebody that's owned it for a few years, right? So when you go and search properties, so like in Land Portal, so let's take a look at something here. If I go into here and I go to filtered search, give me another one of your counties. What was another one that you liked?
Flagler.
I actually own a piece of land in Flagler. Small piece of land. Vacant lot.
Do you find that the skip trace, it's in Florida.
Yeah.
Do you find that the skip tracing is accurate in Land Portal?
No, use I think it's direct skip. We use direct
Okay.
skip because it'll also give you emails and relative numbers.
Okay. And what,
Yeah,
that's like 3 cents per record or something?
might be a little bit more than that.
Okay.
Yeah, you pull the data from Land Portal, and then you have to import that into direct skip to skip trace it in direct skip. So you go here to pull your list, and then you go and get the actual information from direct skip. So let's look at Flagler. All right, remember acres. Let's do 15 to 30 acres. So there's 15, there's 30. Last sale date. So this would be 2022 and before, right? So that's like the end date.
Mhm.
Landlocked doesn't really matter because we're doing road frontage. So 500 feet and above. FEMA would be 20 and 20. Let's just do everybody for right now. Let's see what we came up with. So we got 85 properties. Okay. Now let's get rid of corporate owned. No. 24. So, okay. So we got 24 properties in Flagler that meet 50 to 30 that have at least 500 feet of road frontage. So let's click on, let's just, and then this is, you download this report, but before you download it, you can actually go in here and get rid of certain properties that don't meet your criteria. So if you go here and you click on this one, you're like, well, I don't really like this one because I don't think you're going to want to buy this one. Look at it. That's a power line.
Going right through the middle of it.
Yeah, you can't put a home there. So you don't even want to go after this property.
Right.
Garbage. It's not that it's garbage, it just doesn't meet your criteria, which is I'm trying to subdivide it.
Right.
Right? So then you would go in there and you got to uncheck it. So how do I do that? Oh, where is it at? So which one was it? I think it was this one. Yeah. So then you would go in here and you would just uncheck it. So now it's not checked. So I deleted that property. I don't even care. It doesn't meet my criteria. And I literally go through every single one of these to make sure it's good. What are you going to do with this? Nothing.
With it.
Nothing.
It got road frontage, but it doesn't have the.
Yeah, I guess it's got road frontage. I don't even know. Where's the road frontage at?
Oh, I thought that was the road.
Oh, it's right here. There's your road frontage.
Right.
But you can't
Is it on the road? Oh, wait, no.
I mean,
Well, do
it's
they
just
own
weird.
a piece?
Either way, you don't either
Yeah.
way, you don't
Looks like
really
they own a piece of the road.
yeah, good luck. It doesn't meet your criteria, right? So you just go and you uncheck. And then you'll do this. And I mean, this one looks good, right? There's a road. There's that's a good property. So you just hang on to that one, right? And then you just add that to the list. And you can go here and create a new list or add it to a save list. And you could put Flagler approved, Flagler County approved, and you can just add it to the list. And then when you're done and you go through them all, then you're good, right? Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Let's take 5 minutes and then we'll come back. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. I'm gonna put these metrics on this sheet for you, okay?
Okay.
What's up? All right, so these metrics right here, I'm gonna go ahead and put it. All right. Property specs. So I'm putting it right here. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Acreage, road frontage, FEMA, wetlands, last sale date. That's all you need.
Got
Cool.
I do
Now,
have a question. I do
yep.
have a quick question about funding.
Yes.
Do you fund like smaller deals, like let's just say like 1 acres and stuff like that? Or
No, I don't. There's people that do for sure. And you can go to, is it land.funder? Funder.land. I'll put it in the chat. No, that's not it. What is the site?
I think it's where I probably got your information from.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Yeah. And there's people on I'm not just a cash kind of investor. I'm like cash and being a strategic brain to figure out how do we maximize value.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, a lot of people are just like, well, here's the money, here's the cash. I really underwrite deals really hard. And I really make sure that we have a really good strategy to maximize value. And I know what my niche is, which is these bigger parcels of land, you know, 15 acres and above that we can subdivide in markets that are good. But there's other people that will subdivide and go after your small lots all day long, right?
Gotcha.
If
Okay.
you have that strategy where you do go after some of these smaller ones, but it's the
Mm-hmm.
same kind of philosophy. You got to have good, it's the same style. Um, and there's people that will do those small ones and bigger ones. And maybe you just do, a 5 to 10 acre or something like that. Cause you can at least make more money on those in the
Okay.
same amount of time too, because you're going to get a 1 acre lot for 30 and sell it for 60, right? You can find a 5 acre lot, buy it for 50, sell it for 100, but you're making $20,000 more and it's the same amount of work,
Yeah.
right? And a funder will still fund it. So
Yeah.
I would just try to put a minimum on, like, maybe I'm not going to buy anything unless I can make at least a certain amount of money on it, kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. Sweet.
All right. So follow the document will give you exactly what you need. If you ever get a deal, you just go through that, figure out the market velocity that's a good market, understand the comps support the market being a good market, which means you can buy bigger parcels of the land and chop it up, verify with the county on what you can do. And then when you have a good idea, get a good drawing out there and then basically say, hey, I think I can break this 4 different ways and send it over to me. And what I would say is, if you're really confident, get it under contract.
Okay.
Because if you don't have it under contract, you start talking to the city or other investors, you don't want to do it. You want to get it under contract and make sure you can assign the deal to another entity or LLC, right?
Mm,
And that's the best thing you can do. And prove it to yourself that it's a good deal. And don't be afraid to get things under contract too, because you'll learn too.
gotcha. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Um.
Are you in Discord at all?
Do I have Discord?
Are you in Discord?
Am I in your Discord?
No, are you in a Discord?
Not that I know
Okay.
of.
Okay, cool. So if you just have questions, just shoot me an email, obviously. But if you got questions that just kind of come up, just send me an audio note or send me a text and I can like get you feedback, right away. And then obviously if you have like deals and stuff like that and you want to share it via the spreadsheet, just copy one of those and just send it over to me and I can kind of take a look at it and analyze the stuff for you. Okay.
Survey soil purchase price per acre. Uh, duh, 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 duh. All lots. So can you share that spreadsheet, that one that was filled out real quick, just so I could see the visual of the disposition plan, just so I could see it real quick?
Disposition plan. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Because I want to just make sure I'm efficient when filling this out, so that way I'm not like half-ass filling it out.
Yeah, so let me just
All
let me screenshot this to you. Give me 1 second.
so purchase price. I noticed that purchase price per acre is not on here on that one.
Yeah, I don't always practice what I preach, meaning I don't always fill out everything
Okay.
the exact same way it needs to be. So I fund my own deals, and maybe that's good or that's bad. But yeah, you can. I mean, the big thing I'm looking at here is right here. What I'm buying it. Where's my? I know I'm buying it for 250, and I know down here I can sell it for 525. And then they're all my costs. So that's the big things that I need to really work through, right?
Okay.
I just screenshotted this for you, so I'll send it over to you right now.
And then of course the comps will auto populate. The sales price per acre will auto populate.
It should. There might be a couple things that need to be tweaked on that in order to do that, but it should.
And this can also be good for just not just yourself, but basically any investor that's like, hey, this is the performer, boom, 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 type of thing.
Yeah, anybody that's going to subdivide or not subdivide doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, you could just have one track and you still need market velocity, you still need comps, you still need a closing checklist of the things you need to do. Not everything's going to be exact if it's not a subdivide, but yeah, I would do this for every deal. And you can put in here like the APN and the information and the address and all that kind of stuff.
And then my last question with the subdivides is when you call the county, you ask for the planning and zoning department, is there any like, I don't know if the receipt's the right word, but is there any tangible uh item or things that we need to get from the county to ensure like, hey, this is what the county told me, look, or is it just verbal translation?
Yeah, good question. So they usually have some sort of planning and zoning document or ask them, but they usually have some sort of document that they can share with you, right? But I do like to at least follow up with an email to them and say, "Hey, we just spoke. Hey, this is what I heard you say. This is the property. This is what I can do. Just wanted to follow up and make sure I'm hearing what you're saying right." But yeah, usually there is some sort of planning and zoning doc that they can kind of direct you to. And sometimes they're lazy and they'll just go and make you read that and not even give you, like all the answers, right? But I always like to get them on the phone because reading those documents is sometimes rather time consuming and rather confusing. So that's what I would probably do.
So each property survey and your plat surveyor verifies it could be approved. And all of this stuff, this closing checklist needs to be done prior to closing.
Yeah. Yeah. Not all of it. It just depends. That's just another beast to work through once you get a property under contract. And I can jump on another call with you. Happy to do that, right? When you got something that's a subdivide and like go through that process and show you all the things that need to be done. But the first thing is just market, 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 talk to as many owners as you can, making sure you're talking to the right owners of properties you actually want to buy, right? And then it's like, it's like you gotta do that before we can do anything else.
Gotcha. And then can you also share your, I guess your, I don't know if you do this or not, but your buying criteria? Because I guess my goal is I don't mind going into other markets, but my goal would be primarily to at least, even if it's just assigning a deal to you, and then just being able to shadow you through like, okay, boom, I gave it to Casey, got a little fee for it, and even if I just see like, okay, step one, step two, then I kind of know, you know what I mean? I don't know if you do that.
Yeah, so I would say if you have, I mean, I'm trying to find something that you could potentially double your money.
Okay.
Maybe not there. So if it's a, buy 500, I'm trying to easily see I can get, 900 to $1 million when it's all said and done after subdividing it,
Okay.
which takes longer, but things you kind of need that kind of margin. 40% upside is probably
Mm-hmm.
the limit, right? And then you're kind of good. So I think you kind of fill out that sheet, you send it to me, and then I'll analyze it, underwrite it for you, and just kind of send you my feedback, right?
Okay. Is there let's just say uh like a maximum amount that you won't go over for acquiring? Like let's say like I don't know, 1.5 mil acquisition or something like that? Or is it just if you could get it for 1.5, sell it for 2.5 or 2 million, like it's still game for you? Or is it like what's the threshold?
Yeah, I mean, most of our deals are in the 500,000 to 1.5 range, but
Oh,
every market's different. But
okay.
that's the counties that I'm in, that's kind of where we're playing, and we can move really quickly on those kind of things. But
Okay.
we're doing one that's by 200, right? Sell for 450. So it just kind of depends.
Gotcha. Okay. So just basically doubling the money is the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me show you subdivide. I'll put county zoning doc. I'm going to share with you one other doc that I kind of fill out for counties. Editor. All right. So this is a document I kind of fill out. It's called my just county zoning. I just kind of put their information here. Sometimes they have like a minor subdivide or major subdivide like guide. I'll just put like a link to there. So you can see this one. This county has a development ordinance document. And then they have a subdivision guide. So you can just ask them for any ordinance or guides, and then they'll send you those. And then these are the questions I kind of ask, like county requirements and regulations. These are the questions I ask, right? And then these are the answers they say. And then these are literally like the things I need to know and the questions I need to ask and the answers that they have, right? So if you just follow this when you talk to the county, you'll be in really good shape.
And are you deleting those because those are answers from another county?
Correct.
Okay.
And maybe I can just leave them. Yeah, I'll just leave them so you can kind of see how I took notes, right?
Okay.
This was the Monroe County. And I've already gotten like 75% of the owners on the phone and already negotiating with those counties because I've been
Gotcha.
for over a year. But yeah, you can kind of I don't think it'll do that. But yeah, that's just kind of what the questions I ask and kind of their answers, right? So that'll help you. I shared that.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. I shared that with you. Cool. All right. So you got my cell number. You got my email. Something comes up. You got questions, let me know. And the overall goal is to do that document, pick your markets, pick your properties, and then start the marketing process.
Mm-hmm. Do you just send mailers or what do you do to market? Or you just get on the
Uh,
phone or call?
you can do kind of all of it, right? Mailers can be good. Um, depending on how many properties you're going after, I just start picking up the phone and calling, right? You're going to get 4 or 5 numbers. You can even text. There's some cheaper text services out there if you're not doing a whole bunch of text. But yeah, I mean, if you're going after specific properties, I think mailers and just picking up the phone and making some rings is probably good. You'll probably start. And maybe even talking to some agents in some of the counties that you're working on could be good. and just get started with that. And then let's follow up. If you want to scale up texting, we use a texting service called Smarter Contact.
Mhm.
It's kind of expensive. You got to have an LLC that you register, but it's a pretty decent way to get a hold of people.
Gotcha.
So take a look at that one. And then, yeah, as you come up with questions, just drop me emails or drop me a text and I'll get back to you.
Gotcha. And then my last question before I let you go is your capital raising process. I heard you touch briefly on it, but is it just asking friends and family like, hey, this is what I got going on, this is the deal, or do you like network and then fill out the like how what's your specific
I
process?
actually just shot a video this morning about my fundraising process. I'm creating a website with a video, and then they kind of apply, and then I talk to them. But yeah, it's friends, it's family, it's people that I know, like, trust, that know, like, and trust me. If you remind me, I'm literally about to finish that in the next week or two. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I will send you exactly my fundraising process. And I'll send you the 2-minute video that I'm sending to everybody. And you can even feel free to share that to people and say, hey, I'm partnering with Casey or I'm working with Casey. This is what they got going on. Hey, let's take a look at what he's doing because I'm sending and partnering with him. And then you can kind of see what we're going about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cool.
Sweet. All right.
All right. So how helpful was this today? 1, not helpful at all. Worst investment of my life. 10, super helpful. I feel clear and I got a good game plan moving forward regarding how to find the right markets, how to find the right properties, how to analyze deals. Kind of where are you feeling 1 to 10?
I'll give it a solid 9. Um, solid 9. I think I definitely have a good executed game plan to at least know how to train my eye to see opportunities, challenging myself to fill out this performa because I've heard conversations about performas and filling those type of things out. So this is definitely something that is I want to add to my arsenal to kind of like add to the experience that I've already had. And I think this will probably set me apart from other people, which is always my goal when I'm doing anything, especially when raising capital or reaching out to other land investors as well too. Like, hey, here's a deal I think you should fund. Here's my due diligence on it. Because I'm pretty sure most people hit up other land funders and just say like, hey, here's this deal I got with very little information. You know what I mean? So if I can come to the table with as much info as possible, especially handing them over this, there should be a little bit less resistance as opposed to,
I
dealing with other people. So,
think you're all over it. 9 out of 10. We'll take it. Hit me up when
mm-hmm.
you're ready, and I'm here to help.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Casey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.